next speaker is Dr. Larry McClellan. Larry is the president of the Little Calumet River Underground Railroad Project, and he is also professor emeritus at Governors State University. I don't know if any of you went there. And he is largely responsible, he and the project are largely responsible for putting Jan Tun's homestead on the Little Calumet River on the National Registry of Underground Railroad Sites. So that was quite an accomplishment. And he is here with Tom Shepard, who was also on the board of the project. And they also, you may have seen it on the way in, they have a table of some of their literature there if you're interested in looking at that or have questions for them. Now, they have an important event, another event this afternoon, so they won't be here long. So if you want to have a word or two with them, please grab them soon. Larry?
Well, thank you very much. It's a delight to be with you today. And my wife says I've been doing research on Illinois history and particularly the Underground Railroad for 30 years. And my wife says that I spend 2 days a week in the 19th century. And you all need to know that part of that time in the 19th century is with your ancestors. It's been very fascinating to really track the development of various communities around the Chicago metropolitan region. And uniquely, both what we know today as Roseland and what we know as South Holland, whose name gives it away, are the two predominantly areas where there was Dutch settlement. And in the decades before the Civil War, Illinois became a real target for people that were escaping their enslavement in the South. Loads of people came up out of their enslavement up the Mississippi River Valley, up the Illinois River Valley, into the Chicago metro area, and some stayed over in Chicago for a while. In the 1840s and 50s, Chicago was a little city, the size of the Loop. So people heading for Detroit and then freedom in Canada had to come down on the historic Chicago to Detroit road, and they came down 15 miles out of Chicago across wilderness and farmland and they went right through these two Dutch settlements. And as these freedom seekers who were traveling independently, as they needed assistance, perhaps directions or food, or they needed to sleep in a barn overnight, they would talk to some of the Dutch settlers, including your ancestors. And those folks would direct them to two families, the family of Cornelius and Marje Kuiper, and the family of Jan and Angie Tun. And they spoke English, and they responded, and we've got a cycle of stories about the ways that the Dutch community directed people to the Tuns and the Kuipers, and then they assisted people to get on their way through Northwest Indiana toward Michigan and freedom in Canada. So we have a project that's been going on with that for about 5 years. We've got loads of people that are involved, and we would be delighted to, any of you that would like to pursue this. One of my books deals with the Tun family in detail, and we've got some other stuff. And come on up, Tom. My colleague Tom Shepard is here. In terms of our Dutch connection, in 2023 we put up a official state historic marker, and we got great support from Consul General for the Netherlands, Bart Flaalhoven, in Chicago. And then in just this last spring, we were delighted to be visited by the Dutch ambassador to the United States, Brigitte Tezelot. I'm sure I'm not doing justice to those names. But the Dutch ambassador came to visit with us to dedicate a set of signs that we are establishing at the Tun Farm, and there'll be a copy of it at the First Reformed Church here in South Holland. And I wanted to end by simply sharing with you this wonderful sign. It'll be, weatherproof, and it'll be on a, stand and in the ground and so on. But this side is in Dutch, and that side is in English. And we're very grateful for the support of your collective families and the support of the Dutch Embassy. And glad to talk about anything. Come on one of our tours and visit the Tun Farm site. Thank you. Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you, Larry. You know, I don't know if I mentioned that Yanachi and Garrett Enigenberg, she was Yanachi Tun. So we are, and Jan Tun, whose home that is, was Yanachi's brother. And we have a couple of other of their siblings that have descendants here as well today. So we are all absolutely related to John Tun, if nothing else, through their father, who was the common link. So there you have that. This concludes our official program. There's a couple quick announcements. You know, the historic house is open for tours this afternoon of 6 or 7 people at a time. You can just walk over and someone will let you in. They can only do 6 or 7 at a time because the floors and stairs are a little rickety. This was built by Widow Parlberg's son, Peter. And also at 3:30, Bob, I don't know if you picked the final place, but somewhere around the barn, we're going to take a group picture of everyone. And I mean everyone. So don't worry what branch you're in or if you're a ton, or it's for everyone that's here today. And then afterwards, if any branches would like to take a picture of just their branch, we'll do that too. However, we're going to start with Harry so that your committee can get back to work. And then we'll have our meal at 4 o'clock. And we hope you have a great time. We hope you learned something today. And we are really, really thrilled that you're here. Thank you very much.